Hello, hello. Welcome back.
All right. Hello, you guys. I out of nowhere just had like this weird everything dropped.
No.
So unfortunately, Kim, go back to Zencast. We gotta come back in on that end. But yes,
Okay.
hello, welcome you guys. Kim and Latrice. Unfortunately, I did have technical difficulties, but we are ready to get started. So Kim, can you please tell us how was your day?
It was great. Can you hear me?
I can. I can hear you just fine.
Okay. I had a light day, what's going on with me, with my body, but, it's moving along and I'm feeling good. So today was a great day. How about yourself?
Same old, same old. Garden and the businesses. That's it.
Well, garden is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
what time do you say you go to the garden?
So I get started anywhere between 6 and 8. It kind of fluctuate. Honey, I'm supposed to be, look, working out first,
Hmm.
then going to the garden. And yeah, I've been off. I, I, I I haven't been doing what I was supposed to do when it comes to working out my body. But
Right.
yeah. But
As, as long as you're keeping it healthy.
I am.
Okay.
I
So we're
definitely am. Mm.
hmm
Like
lots
today, I
of
will get in 2 meals versus one. I had
okay.
breakfast, but I haven't had anything since breakfast.
What?
So
No. What? Two?
yeah, yeah. My
Wow.
baby wanted me to fix him a fattening fried egg sandwich, as I call it. So I was like, I think I'm gonna have one. But I went and got some basil out of my backyard and some oregano, and I put fresh
Hmm.
basil and oregano on my sandwich.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look,
Mhm.
we're talking about today. How do we step back as women to let men step up? And I'm
Yeah.
just gonna ask a question before we start.
Mhm.
So you maybe have a two-parent household, right? The baby, your 6-year-old, 7-year-old, right? He have a two-parent household. Who does he come to the most to fix him food? Huh?
Daddy doesn't cook at all. So he's gonna come to me to cook.
He come directly to you.
Did I just go out again?
You're breaking up a little bit.
Well, looks like tonight's gonna be a tough one because we are having a storm
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to go over and bring up. We are having a storm, you guys, here in Maryland, so it may be affecting my internet tonight.
Yeah, but I
Oh,
can hear you clearly. So.
oh, good. So you're back now. Okay, I couldn't hear you, so good. Okay, I'm back in. So yeah, just to let you know, Kim, we are having a storm here, and girl,
Okay.
it's been
Okay.
going down off and on all day today.
Okay.
So just bear with me. If it does happen, I will definitely go out and come back in, and you could just keep
Okay.
talking to the people. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, so what I was saying was no, my husband does not cook. So he come to mommy. Look, he come to mommy right now for everything. But I think that's because like my dad told me when they're little, even when we were little, it was mama, mama, mama. And then when we get to a certain age, we kind of like switch over.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'd be like, boy, don't you want to go in there and spend time with your daddy? No, I want to be with my mommy. And so of course I'm like, okay.
Do you feel
And I
that?
eat it up.
Yeah. So if that happens, to step back so men can step up
You said, is
by
that
you eating
helping?
that up, by you eating that up, because
Well,
he's
yeah,
going.
because I'm not gonna force him. So I'm not gonna reject him. Because at that point, what you'll be doing if he's wanting to spend time with you, you're gonna be rejecting him. So I'm not gonna do that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but if
If
his
he spends
dad
time
said,
all the time.
what I think is if the dad said, "Hey, tell Martino to come here," and then I was like, "No, Martino, stay with me." That's that type of thing. Then that's
Okay.
not right.
Good.
But that would kind of go with me not stepping back, right? But
Mm-hmm.
him selecting who he wanna hang with, at the moment, I don't think that would have anything to do with me needing to step back.
But men see that the children are always on the mother, and they tend to relax and let the mother handle it. So by us taking on that role, and I think we take on that role all the time, and
Mhm.
we're not aware that we're taking on that role all the time when we should we be stepping back and let the men step up. Now I know some men are not there to step up, but like your two-parent home, your
Mhm.
husband is there. So how
Mhm.
do you navigate the situation? Well, not the situation, the journey that we are trying to be on. By
So for me,
maybe.
stepping back isn't what you're kinda talking about. So for me, when I say women need to step back, because remember, this is kind of going off of yesterday's podcast when I was, wanting to discuss the men changing the dynamic of the family and
Mm-hmm.
taking the lead. So then when
Okay.
you were like, "Well, women," you gave your, scenario of women not really wanting to allow the men,
Mm-hmm.
in my personal opinion, be men. When you
Right.
gave the scenario of, well, let's just say he does something,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you said something like if the woman been through something before, the guy
Mm-hmm.
does something and the woman's like, "No, I'm not trying to," something like that you said. I can't remember it word for word.
Right.
To me, that's not stepping back. First off, if your spouse comes and says they want to venture into whatever, why would the spouse why would the woman go, "Nah, I don't think you should be." Maybe it was the way that you said it, 'cause I went back and listened to our podcast, and I was like, "Well, first of all, that's out of pocket. Why would why would you go and kinda almost crush it based off of whatever your history?" Um, I don't know if
Crush.
you was Go ahead.
Crush what? Crush what?
Um, Whatever it was that the male was talking about, because you didn't give the exact example. You just said if they've been through some things, and then the guy said whatever, then the woman would be like, "No." It was almost like you was saying she was a no nonsense, "We not gonna do this" type thing. But you never
Oh,
gave the actual scenario, so I'm not sure.
yeah, yeah. I have to go
Um,
back. Yeah.
yeah. So, but what you were just asking me in regards to this, my son, to me, that's not me
What?
needing to step back. I wasn't talking about on something like that. What I thought this woman needs to step back on was allowing the man to lead. That means when the man is initiating something for the house, the woman automatically going, "No, I don't think so," or immediately going against him with the raising of the children. Versus, to me, how it should be done, the woman learning to step back, have that conversation with him outside of, right, the children, but have the conversation of why she thinks it should be no, because the woman's still getting a voice. We're not going to remove that. But should it always be she's going against what he's saying? Um, that's what I was talking about, or had
Well,
had
I
more
think it.
so in mind.
Yeah, I think I think it all plays a part as well too, because if we, because a mother, like I said, we are nurturers. We're gonna
Mhm.
always run to the kids and do everything. If we step back some and just sit back and just
Well, why did you say
rest,
run to the kids? Because what do you
I
mean
mean,
run
what
to the
they
kids?
run to their every beck and call, whatever. We're
I don't
the
run to
mother.
my kids, so you got to explain to me what that means. Run to your
Well,
kids. What do you mean by that?
I'm not saying it like you're just running to your kids. If my kids come calling me and I'm just gonna get up and run to them, I'm meaning to do anything. If they fall hurt, they're calling the mother. And I'm saying sometimes should we just sit quiet, rest, and let the man take the lead? I feel like all that ties it's levels to all of everything we're talking about. So
So are
every
you saying with so in these situations where the child is always, and you talking about even older, where they're always running to the mother, that
always
is with
run
the man and the woman actually in the house together, right?
right, they can not even be in the house together because let it. Okay, yeah,
Then I
I
think they're
believe.
gonna automatically run to whoever's in that house, though.
I was going to say that because, like I just, we were talking and I said about Tamar on the Angie Martinez show,
Mhm,
saying that, she just shows up. She have to let God do everything. She rests. I'm with you, girl. Heart, I rest. She just
mhm,
rests and do the things that she needs to do because she let God do his work. So
mhm,
she have to step. She have to, if she does anything she has to do everything almost right so that she's there for her son. So she
mhm.
is the one that's stepping up that we see the public for her son. We don't really see the father because she's always talking about her taking care of her son, or her son is always in her presence. So stepping up.
See, I
How
don't
would
know
that
I don't follow Tamar that much to know, because I was about to say, could it be that she's more in the limelight and he's the foundation, he's in the background? I don't know. I'm just asking.
no,
Um,
nah,
so why you
nah.
say that? Why you say nah like that?
No, because he's well known as well.
No, no, just because you're well known doesn't mean you're out there open publicly like maybe she is. That's what I'm asking. Cause you said nah, that's what I'm asking. So did she like hint at something as far as like, cause I guess I'm not quite
Hint
following
at,
or understanding completely.
hint at what? What do you mean? Did she hint at anything? I'm saying
Hinted for
she
you to say
have,
nah, no, that almost as, because her ex-husband name is Vince,
yeah,
right?
right.
So
And
how,
everybody
what I'm
knows it.
saying is, how do we know the relationship between Vince and the father? I mean, the son. That's what I'm saying. Is it because
That's
he's
what
not
I'm
as
saying.
public?
That's okay. That's fair because that's what I was
Mhm,
saying. We don't see that. We only see
mhm,
Tamar
mhm, mhm,
doing it.
mhm.
So how do we let her step back? Say Vince not doing anything, and I hate to talk about you guys at our
Well, I
podcast.
wouldn't even want to discuss that part because we don't know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we
I'm
can't
an
use
example.
her
So take their
personal
name away.
kind of.
Just take their name away. Just in general, a person. So the woman is at home with the
Mhm.
kid, and how do she help? How do we help or give a message to a woman so that she can step back and make sure that the guy is stepping up for the child?
Well, I think let's take a family dynamic where the man's not active, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
think first of all, that needs to be a husband and wife sit down conversation. That's the
Mm-hmm.
first thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, who initiates the conversation? I don't know, but let's just say the woman, because this is about helping the woman, right? So I would
Yeah.
I would suggest the woman sit down with her spouse and express what she wants from him, which would be for him to step up, and how she wants to step back. That's going to be whatever, individual or individual couple dynamic. So that first step will be, of course, having that conversation. And then when it comes to the actual action, once there's a situation that is presented, she will have to remind herself she has to do the work. She has to put herself in a circle of women who can teach her, just like we were saying, the men need a mentor. The
Mm-hmm.
woman would need to be in a circle or with a circle of women who can teach her how to step back and allow that man to make mistakes, even if it happens, to give his opinion on how to rear the children. Doesn't mean his rearing opinion will be correct, but she would need to be able to have a conversation with him for him to vent, or not vent, for him to express what he thinks it should be in this change that she's requesting. But she's going to have to stay in the mix in order to make that change. You have to keep it on your mind on a constant to make change. It's not going to just happen. She'll
So
have to change her circle.
yeah,
Hmm?
but so do you think it's hard? Do you think it's hard, or I think it's hard for a woman to do that because sometimes the man, if the woman, if the household is separate, the man is not going to listen to the woman. Not
Oh, you
all
talking
men.
about separate households? I'm sorry, I
I
was
mean,
on saying okay.
in separate or two parent.
Ooh, co-parent, the co-parenting. Yeah, the co-parenting, I think it still can happen. That will still be the man and the woman having the conversation on how they want that to
The
look.
women always do.
Say that
The
one more time.
women, but the women always do have the conversation, and I
Stop
feel
saying
like
always.
okay,
Come on now.
the women do. We're gonna take the always
Girl,
off,
you are so pro woman. The women don't
and
always nothing. Let's stop it.
the men don't hear them
You can't say
because
always. What is this always
I
thing?
just took it away. I said it and
Oh,
took it back.
okay, go
I
ahead.
said women.
Uh-huh. Some women. Mm-hmm.
Some women. I took it back. I said
Mm-hmm.
it and took it back. Some
Mm-hmm.
women, they will not let a man. It's hard to help them step back because of what they are dealing with that other
So we're
person.
so we're talking about, but see, so here's
Either
why.
or, it doesn't matter because the people who's married and separated and still dealing with the children here and there trying to have a home with
But
separation.
hold on. But this
It's
is
a lot.
why the conversation yesterday wasn't about the women. It was about the men making the change. So now you just threw in a man not making a change. I'm not talking about it starting with the women. And this is what I'm trying to stress. The foundation starts with the man, which is why I feel the man has to take the lead. He has to start to change the dynamics. If we go back to women stepping back so the man can step up, that's out of pocket when the man's not willing to do that. This was about the men changing first,
Mm-hmm.
then the woman adjusting based off of that man or getting left behind, is what I was kind of saying
So
yesterday.
you're saying don't help the women, help the men, let the men change on their own, go through therapy or whatever they need to do to get to the place they need to be there. That's what you're
Mhm.
saying. Okay.
That's what I believe. I believe the foundation starts with the man, not with the woman. Because you did say yesterday the women have to allow, have to allow, have to allow. No, they
We
don't.
do.
Mm-mm. I think that's
We
the problem. The women keep thinking they're the lead. They're not. I think that's part of the issue. They
and
think that they are the lead. They are not the lead. They're so used to doing it because
yeah,
most households are women led.
and that's what I'm trying to tell you.
But we
You're
want, but I didn't want to discuss the women. That's why my focus yesterday was supposed to really
gonna
be about
always
these men.
not you can't it's not gonna always stay like that. We have to, it's like levels. It's gonna throw me off to talk about this. Like, no.
It shouldn't, because okay, let's look at you.
Okay, look at me.
How do we change your mind, right,
Uh,
on understanding that the man should be the foundation to make the change and let the women follow? How can we get you to see it differently than just accepting that the women got to allow, the women got to allow? No, people can eventually, not like tomorrow, eventually get left behind because they can't let go of what they're used to. So mentally, when you hear me say the man being pretty much the foundation of the family, because you didn't grow up and wasn't used to it, it's almost like you can't really see it. Am I wrong?
no, you're not wrong because
Okay.
if you haven't seen it, you're not gonna visual people not visualizing things that they haven't seen that they don't want to see. So let me put it like that. Maybe we don't
Yeah,
want
don't want, because I was about to
haven't
say, don't you watch
we
TV?
want to see it
Because
because
people
we
see different scenarios on TV, right? Some people
Mhm,
look at TV and say, "Ooh, I want my life like that." So even if you
mhm,
don't live something, you can see it
mhm,
and
but maybe they
envision. that maybe
Right.
that's what you want.
Mhm.
I just
Mhm.
think that maybe be like you said something last night, and it did something to my spirit when you said women who grew up without listening to a man, meaning the father in the household, or even if he's not in the household, because see, you don't have to be in a household to still be there for your children as men.
Right. That's
So,
right.
but you said something about they're not used to having men in that position, so they don't want it. I beg to differ. Why wouldn't they want it even more if they didn't have it for their children? Wouldn't
Want,
they want their children to experience what they didn't
want,
experience?
I'm saying want what? Make me give me some
The
clarity.
male, when you were saying they don't wanna listen to the male because
Oh,
they've never had to listen to a male. So now they
you
have children. Wouldn't they want their children to have a different experience than what they had?
so you're saying that we as women should want to listen to the guys so that our
Isn't
kids can
that biblically sound? Maybe I'm
it,
wrong. I don't know.
if they want. You know what? I'm gonna have to study that a little bit more because baby,
They
no.
the foundation, honey. God created Adam first. Let's not forget.
Yeah, but he
He
gave
can't
them Eve because they
he
couldn't
did hold
get
on, hold on,
together.
hold on.
He gave
As
them
his
Eve because
helpmate.
they couldn't get together
As his helpmate. But who's
because
that
they couldn't
foundation?
because
Who's
he
that
couldn't get it
foundation?
together.
Who's the
Eve
foundation?
because they couldn't he couldn't get it together.
Who's the foundation?
He gave them
You
Eve
can't
and Eve
change who the
started telling
foundation
him what
is.
to do.
You
Eve
can't
started telling
change.
him what to do. What did
See,
he
there
do?
it go.
He did
You
what Eve
can't
said.
you cannot change the foundation no matter what. We can't
Change
change the foundation, and women want it changed. And no, that's not how it's supposed.
the tree.
Think about this.
Why?
When God, hold on, when God discussed, when Jesus said the reason why God allowed divorce now, he really didn't answer them. He went back to say, in the beginning, God created male, female, right?
Hmm.
Who was
Hmm.
created first? In order to for something to stand, it's going to be the foundation. That's the first thing. Yes or no?
Yeah, you're
Who
gonna
was
need a
created
foundation.
first? Male or female?
Okay, so Adam was created first, but he needed Eve to keep pushing.
I'm not excluding that part. I'm
Okay.
talking about the responsibility of the male
Yeah, but
and
then he
women
didn't
wanting that
listen.
responsibility.
He didn't listen to God in the beginning because he listened to woman, right? God said to Adam, "Don't eat, don't touch that tree." But Eve came and said, "Touch that tree." And what did he do? Touch that tree.
I only asked the question.
Okay, I'm
Who
just
who is the foundation?
whatever
Adam.
he is.
See?
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
what you have to change. You got to change your mindset.
You see how
You
I'm
have
talking
to.
now? It's like
Yes.
whatever. And a lot of women are speaking like that. Like,
Right.
girl,
So then and that but that's
like,
why I'm here to remind you. Cause look, sometimes you might have to remind me. But that's what the circle is about. This is what you wanted to talk about, helping women. When we
right.
do this, we have
Hmm.
to remind ourselves and continue to study in hopes of evolving and understanding that what's the foundation.
Yeah. Well,
And just because a mistake was made, no one is perfect. Even though a
mm-hmm.
mistake is made by our men, we've got to still give them room to correct and grow.
And we do.
Understand? That's my
And we do. So what happens? Like we really do.
yeah.
And if you do a statistic right now, even you're in the statistic. We're
Mhm.
all getting in the kingdom.
Everyone's in a statistic. Absolutely.
So yeah. I'm
Mhm.
just saying on this statistic, we're all these the women now. We're trying to be in the kingdom. So we're trying to
Mhm.
walk with God.
Right. So you'll have to be reminded, right? So if you have a situation where your husband is you're in a disagreement with your husband, right?
Hmm.
Well, let me say this because my whole thing was about the men taking the lead first. This is why I was trying to stress it last night. They've got to take the lead first. So if that is not the case, I'm sorry, then it's obsolete.
Hmm.
You see what I'm
Well,
saying?
so if
Because
they
if the man is not making the change to change the dynamics, it's still the same.
yeah,
So
they
I would
have to
say
make
if a woman is single and she has children, life ain't over for her. She still can get married or remarried, right? And
right.
she can
So
prepare herself for
that's right.
her husband or her next husband, right?
That's right. That's
So
right.
So that can happen if she's single. um she has to start practicing. She will have to start seeing herself a certain way, and she got to select properly, because those men do exist. We first need to put that out there. Society wants to allude to the fact that there are no good men. That's not true. She first has to be very selective in who she chooses to be over her household, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once
Mm-hmm.
she's able to do that, then she can continue her work and stepping back and allowing that man to lead her household. But if she make the mistake, like we all have, and select somebody that's not ready to lead, well, the cycle's going to repeat.
Right. So that's why it's like, I think what's going on now, because women are trying to, I feel that they want to let men lead, and by them, we being in trying to, we are in the kingdom following God's word. That's the word, to let the man lead. Did not even, yeah, lead, to be the
Yeah, I
head, to
think they do too. And that's why I was asking you, do you don't think that if the majority of the men turn that stuff around, those women would get in lines? And you,
if
yeah, they would.
maybe, but do, how can we help that happen?
Just like what we're doing, like we do every time we get on this podcast, we're going to have these conversations. We're going to have the conversation with our girlfriends,
Yes,
those we don't know.
yes,
Um, and we've got to always speak it, but we got to walk it, right?
walk it. Mm-hmm.
We've got to walk it. And
Mm-hmm.
I think
And
the good
how
thing
does
about
walking,
life.
how
Hmm?
does walking look it? How does walking it look?
L- w- I don't understand the question.
You
What do you
said
mean?
we
How
have to
does
walk.
walking?
You
It's
said we
living
have
in
to.
it. You got to
Okay,
practice what you're preaching. That's
okay.
it.
Just give me one thing, so to help me. Maybe I don't understand. Just give me one thing I need to walk.
Give me a
Walk it.
scenario, and I can tell you how to walk through it. You have to give me something. Don't ask me because I think I got this down. No, I'm just playing.
I let you have it down, baby. Yeah.
Go, girl. Yeah, right. I'm a work in progress. I talk to Jesus all the
We are
time.
all. We are all. That's
Absolutely.
we are
So I'll
all.
tell you this. So what I do to stay in my place of growth in this, I listen to the Bible daily.
Mm-hmm.
I listen
Mm-hmm.
to different stuff on YouTube biblically
Mm-hmm.
daily.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go into the Bible Gateway and I study on that, right? I keep taking it in so that I can continue my walk, because life happens, frustration happens. Um and I need to remind myself that I am trying to be a better person for God. I am trying to represent him. And in that, in everything that I do, I have to continue to put that in me so that that's what come out of me.
Mm-hmm. And
And
I also
those
think
oh, go
we need
ahead.
to speak it.
You
We
said what
need
now?
to. I think we need to speak it. Speak
Absolutely.
that the men are stepping up,
Mhm.
and we need to reverse our words. Change our thinking, change our wording, and speak that the men are going to step up, instead of saying they're not stepping up or they're not doing this. I
That's
think we
yeah.
have to speak it more. Like, just
Yeah.
speak it, put it out, just speak it, and maybe
Yeah.
then it'll change around. It'll change the dynamic of things.
Absolutely. Because remember last night you was like, well,
I have to sit on it, baby. I have to sit on it.
no, I get you. And I'm just
Just
like,
see.
no, because life isn't over. If you're
No,
out here still breathing, there's still an opportunity to do it the right way,
it is.
to
But
change your what? What do you say,
thinking,
but? Hmm?
no, but
You said
saying
but.
it, yeah, but we want it to happen, and I'm going to start speaking it. So the bud is gone. So we're
Okay,
gonna,
good.
yeah, the bud is gone. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're
So
right.
practice yourself, right?
Mhm.
Like at your home, whenever there's that doggone Latrice,
Yeah,
she gonna tell
always,
me, hey, take that top lip, see that bottom lip, put them together.
all the time. Yeah, be it
Look,
quiet. Yeah, because
that is it. Because
I have
everything, because
gotten
you know what I'm
into.
learning? My sister used to mess with me. She was like, that mouth. Let me tell you
Yeah,
something. My mouth will get started after you've done something to me. However, I have learned that doesn't mean I have the right.
And that's
to
what
use that
men say.
mouth as a weapon.
Because we're talking doesn't mean it's as a weapon, and that's what the men don't like. They say our mouth, so our mouth we
Oh,
can't
no,
speak
no, I'm
out.
talking about if my mouth go off. No, I'm saying if no, when my sister make that comment, she know my mouth, but my mouth have always been in response, never
Mm,
initiated. Remember I told you that? But what
mm,
I'm learning, that's no excuse to talk nasty to anyone. I still don't have the right to do that. That's that learning to step back. Watch your mouth, watch your tone, respect your husband, your significant other, right? If you're in the house together raising your children,
right.
we can
We
have conversations with another adult with all the rah, rah, rah that women think or feel they have the right to go at their man because of a situation.
right. So their practice what you preach,
Yeah.
practice the word of
You
God,
got to
so
keep
that
that word in you in
our
order
mouth
to do
closed.
that. Hmm.
And that's the only way. We're gonna have to, make sure the relationship with God is on point.
Right.
See
And
what?
get away from all that gutter music that's trying to tell you that's how you supposed to be. Cause see, you taking all that in, that's gonna come out.
Mm-hmm.
If that's your majority of your stuff, that's what's going to come out. So they
So,
might have to take a look. Remember, I was talking about their women's circle.
mm-hmm.
Also, what's on their TV? What's on their radio in their car? Is it about the popping and shaking the butt and doing all?
Yeah.
It's a lot that's more than just your circle of women. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why it's going to have to be a self reflection that they'll have to take. But I feel that if the man has already started, 'cause remember this, I still think the men take the lead with this. If they have started, they'll start to look inward because those men will stop selecting them.
Mm. Yeah, you can
But if
say
the
that.
men don't start and don't look like how they try to tell us to look, be careful who we select, then it'll keep repeating itself. But I do believe God had an intention for us to be a helpmate, not to be the leader. No, ma'am. And unfortunately, women have been put in the positions where they have been the leader. They're so
Thank you.
accustomed to it. But
Yes.
just because you're accustomed to it does not mean that's what you're supposed to do.
So therefore, the retraining of the mind,
Absolutely.
things you see, the things you hear,
Hmm.
are the only way you're going to be able to change the situation, change the circumstances. Because
Yep.
as long as we still see
Hmm.
men, and I know you're gonna combat me with men, just men and women, but as long as we see men doing what they're doing or how they're bringing it to us, we're still gonna do that. It's like we have to have this,
Then if that's the case, they're not following God because that's not what it's about.
and I'm,
Then
I'm
see,
following God, but I'm not perfect, so I'm still, Lord, you're still working on me. So
get a God.
yeah, okay,
No, me too. Because I'll text my sister, be like, "Girl, mm-mm." she'll ignore me, and then I
yeah.
get mad because I'm like, "Well, she know I just wanted to vent." So it's a good thing she ignored me sometimes, but I would rather she pray with me. See, and I think
Mm,
that's what I'm missing. So I'm gonna be vulnerable real quick. I know we're over the time. I
yes, I
need
know.
when I'm going through, and this is why I reach out to people. I be needing someone to pray with me, and I don't have that circle. I
I
don't.
don't. Yeah,
Yeah. And so
yeah.
when I send someone I'm close to, which I have best friends, but for some reason when I'm going through, I reach out to my sister, well, one of my sisters,
Mm-hmm.
um, instead. And
Yeah,
I don't know if I just like rejection because she don't pray with me, right? And
yeah. And
she's
that's a
supposed
lot.
to,
Yeah,
huh?
a lot of people are not where we are. So
Oh no, my sister's ahead of me, I think, honestly.
I know
So
one of
that's
them.
why I think I expect her
Yeah,
to
I know
pray
one of
with
them.
me. Yeah,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
but that's who I reach out to. But so I'll
Okay.
be expecting her to pray with me, but she'll ignore me. And she'll be like, girl, I was praying for you. And I'll be saying to myself, I don't need you to just pray for me. I need you to pray with me because see what God says,
Yeah,
where two or more
that's
are
right.
joined together,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you ask for on earth. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that circle yet. I want that circle. And this podcast, maybe that's something we can build. But when I'm
Mm-hmm.
going through, I know where to go in the Bible, but I know I need someone to pray with me,
So
you know.
see, that's why when I was growing up, that's I was around that. Like,
Hmm.
when he was a pastor. So she was always, we had prayer meeting, we making ice cream for the the Wednesday night Bible study. That was I was raised in that, so I was always being prayed for, and so now I'm doing all the praying for, and I feel
Yeah.
like people get, they don't accept it well if I come to them. Do you want to pray for them? They want me to go the other way. Maybe they
Mm,
want to go the other way instead of praying because they are not on my not my level, not at that point yet.
gotcha. So then I
You know
think
what?
they just got to see you walk the walk.
Yeah,
See, we can just live in God's truth and live that life, and we wouldn't have to say much. People will see it and start coming to you, and it'll be
and that's
different.
why you said let your light shine.
Yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
why you stay in your lane,
Hmm.
and so you can work on yourself so your light can shine for other women, so they can let men take
Yes,
lead. So get we can be that light, that shining light.
right.
I think we are just talking, and people may be listening and be saying, "Girl, please," or "Yeah, she's right. What is wrong with her?" So yeah, someone may pick up this, and I hope you did, and
Absolutely.
get something out of it. Let your mind change, renew your thinking. I hope
Renew
someone.
and if they're already in a marriage, right,
Hmm.
or a relationship with their significant other, and
Hmm.
that relationship is or that marriage is not where they want it to be, um, then I think they're going to have to really work on them. But first, have that before you do that. Have that conversation. Just have the conversation with their spouse or significant other in the home. Have the conversation and see where it goes. Because we may be surprised what would happen if we just had the conversation.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say because people probably are having a conversation. How do we know? We
Yeah.
don't know.
Hmm.
Just like
Hmm.
yeah.
And but if this is if they're not and they're
Yeah.
already in a marriage or
Mhm.
relationships, they living together with
Mhm.
children and stuff, have those conversations. But if you are single, stay single until you get all this in you so you can select right. I'm serious.
She is telling the truth. I'm with
Yes,
you.
stay single
Learn
until you can
yourself. Learn
find the
what?
right king
Yeah,
to lead your household. That life
that's
would
right.
be so much different if you got a man following God.
That's right.
Uh, but wait a minute, really following God, not playing with
Yeah.
God. There's a difference, and they're out there and they exist.
Yes, they do.
But if he's truly following God, your life will be easier, I
That's right.
think. And
Right.
then your
And you
children's life. That's what it's about,
following
changing
God
our
as well.
bloodline.
And
Hmm.
you are following God as well because you have to be
Yeah,
equally yoked. Come on, let's
absolutely.
be.
And if you're not following God yet, go ahead and get to that.
Yes.
Change the dynamics of your life and your bloodline for yourself and your children and your grandchildren. So, you
Yes.
guys, we are 8 minutes over, but we wanted to, I guess, talk a little bit more because my boss Kim, she ain't say nothing, honey. I was looking at the time like, ooh, she gonna
I
say
know.
something.
I did.
We
I said
we was at like 5 minutes. I didn't hear nothing. I was like,
right.
ooh, ooh,
I
ooh.
said 8:31. You kept going, so I just kept going as well. I said 8:31.
But
It's
yeah, you guys. So this is the end of the podcast for today. Hopefully, you ladies, guys, heard something that can resonate, and you can sit down with your spouse, significant other, and see if you can have a conversation about changing the dynamics in your household. Um, but we'll be back here tomorrow, Kim and Latrice, for 30
watch it.
minutes watching our I mean not watching now. She threw me off with the she finna say watch us work. Doing
Yeah.
our 30-day challenge, 30 minutes. Tomorrow will be day 9, episode 13. Please join us. And we will see you guys later. Good night.
Hi.